practice an upright version of Prasarita Padottanasana. So stand in Tadasana, take your hands to your hips and step your feet quite wide, and have your heels wider than toes. Draw up through the legs and press your thigh bones back. Lift the low belly, let the waist settle back, long in the side ribs. Hook your thumbs and stretch your fingertips forwards and then all the way up overhead. Extend the arms up, reach the fingertips up. Lift the front ribs, the side ribs, and the back ribs. Press the feet down into the sticky mat and draw up through the musculature of the legs. And think of the shoulder blades pressing forward into the rib cage. Think of deepening the thoracic spine towards the chest. So there's no rounding happening in the upper back here, but rather the shoulder blades are pressing forward to lengthen the anterior thoracic spine. And then exhale and lower the hands down, change the hook of the thumbs, bring the other thumb in front, and then stretch the fingertips forward and up again. Again, press the feet and lift the arms, thigh bones back, muscles of the legs engaging and lifting. Lift the low belly and lengthen the front of the thoracic spine. Draw the shoulder blades forward. Arms back and waist back, abdomen lengthening, thigh bones back. Generate a profound internal lift from deep inside yourself, lifting up through the central axis of the body. And then exhale and lower the hands down. Take your hands to hips, shoulders back, long waist, and step your feet together. Grab your blocks for Ardha Prasarita. So place your blocks in front of you at about shoulder distance apart. And stand in Tadasana, engaged and lifted and long. Hands on hips. And then step your feet wide, heels wider than toes. Thigh bones grounding back. Buttocks releasing. Thighs internally rotating. And then lift your shoulders and then move them back and down. Shoulder blades hugging in towards the chest. And then hinge at the hips to fold, lifting the backs of the legs, lifting the buttocks, extending the backs of the knees. Take your hands to the blocks, and you can take the blocks on the highest height here. Stretch the front of the ribs forward. What you don't want to do is be rounded here with the buttocks tucked and the upper back round. Rather, bend your knees, lift the buttocks, lift the sitting bones, and stretch the bottom front ribs forwards to stretch the chest forwards. And even walk those blocks a little more further forward so your spine can lengthen even more. And then pull your thigh bones back as you continue to lift the buttocks, as you sink the thoracic spine deeper in towards your chest. Get long in the trunk. Inner thighs going back. Press the inner feet down so that you're grounded in an even way in the feet. And then walk your feet in slightly. Take your hands to your hips and keep an open chest as you come all the way up. And have your blocks in front of you now for an Ardha Prasarita twist variation. Hands on hips, long waist, lift the belly, thighs rolling in, and then exhale and fold and take your hands down to the blocks, which are on the highest height. Keep pulling the thigh bones back and the chest forwards. Lift the buttocks and pull the bottom front ribs forward. Relax and release internally so you can find more length in your trunk. And then move the block that's under your right hand to the center, directly under your heart, and unfold your left arm up to the ceiling to take a big twist. Keep your thigh bones pulling back. Keep the front of the spine long. Lift the left arm to the ceiling and turn the belly and the rib cage to the left. And then exhale and lower the left hand down. Take the block now that's under the left hand to the center and unfold the right arm, right fingertips up to the ceiling. Extend the legs, lift the buttocks, pull the thighs back, and then lengthen the anterior spine forwards, headwards, and lift the right arm and shoulder more to turn the belly and the rib cage to the right. Toes lifting, arches lifting. Take your right hand down. And then we'll repeat again to each side, and you can take the block to a lower height if that feels accessible to you. So continue on your own. And switching sides now. And back to center now with both hands on blocks. And then walk your feet in slightly, hands to hips. Keep the chest open as you come up to stand. And then step your feet together and release your arms by your sides. Now we'll practice what I call the Prasarita dog. So have your blocks ready in front of you, and then step your feet wide so that your heels are wider than your toes, thighs rolling in, muscles of the legs engaged and lifting up, thighs pressing back. Lift the low belly, lift the side ribs, shoulders back, lift from under the heart, and then exhale and fold yourself forward, taking the hands to the blocks. Keep your legs very active and very tall. Keep lifting the backs of the legs as you slide your blocks forward, taking your upper body into a down dog position. Pull the outer hips up and back. Pull the inner thighs back. Stretch your hands and arms forwards as you let your head release down between the arms. Think of the thoracic spine deepening towards the chest. Abdomen is long, and the front of the spine, the anterior spine, is very elongated here. Stay lifted in the fronts and backs of the legs evenly. Stay grounded in the inner feet. Press your hands into the blocks and release the top of the head down. Stay open and relaxed and lifted in the back of the throat. Let the abdomen recede and lengthen. Breathing here. And then walk your hands back so the blocks are right under the shoulders, and then walk your feet a little closer. Bend your knees, hands to hips, shoulders back, and lift the chest to come on up. And then step your feet together. Now grab a bolster and a blanket, and we'll practice camel pose. So place your blanket down on the sticky mat so that your shins have some padding. And stand on your shins on the blanket, and then place the bolster right on top of your heels. And then you can go ahead and sit down on the bolster. Pull your sitting flesh back so that you can sit up nice and tall. And be here in neutral just for a moment. And then press your fingertips down onto the bolster, leaning back onto your hands, and start to lift your pelvis up and forward to come into camel. Lift your shoulder blades up towards the front of the rib cage as you lift the sternum up and back and come into the back bend here, and finally releasing the head back. Think of the outer thighs squeezing in, tailbone anchoring forwards, inner thighs reaching back a little bit, pelvis moving forward, and reach the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling for support. Press into the fingertips, and then come out of the pose by lifting the chest up and then sit back down on the bolster. Now we'll practice Vajrasana with a really sweet side cat-cow variation. Sit on your shins and sit with a tall spine. And then inhale your arms out to the sides and up. Lift from deep inside. And exhale, take a side bend over to the right. And then bring your left hand behind your head. As you inhale, you'll open your elbow and twist to face the ceiling. And as you exhale, you'll turn and look down towards your right hand, chin to chest, elbow down, curling the spine like cat. And then inhale, open the elbow, find a gentle back bend. And exhale, curling back down. Inhale, open the elbow, look at the ceiling, open the chest, turn the left ribs up. Exhale, curling into a side cat, elbow down, chin to chest, and continue like this. Allow yourself to become really involved in exploring the subtleties of movement here. Exploring the range of your shoulders, the range of the movement of the head, and resolve this into a simple side bend, exhaling, and then inhale back to the center, both arms up, and exhale, side bending over to the left. Hand behind your head, open the elbow, turn the right ribs up, look at the ceiling, and then exhale, looking down at the left hand, close the elbow, rounding. Inhale, open the elbow, turning to look at the ceiling, and exhale, rounding again, chin to chest. And continue like this. Explore the range of motion of that right elbow. See if you can feel the right shoulder blade gliding on the rib cage. Movement and breath together, and resolve into a side bend, exhaling. Inhale back to center, lifting both arms, lift the low belly, and exhale, relax the arms out and down. Now we'll practice a supported fish variation with 2 blocks and a blanket. So fold your blanket, this will be the padding for your head, and place a block down on the medium height and then have another block next to your sticky mat. So now you'll lay back so that the block on the medium height will be supporting you under your shoulder blades. And then lengthen yourself up and over the block so the head will come to the blanket, and have the other block right between the palms of your hands. Release the flesh of your buttocks away from your lower back towards your feet. And reach the block up and overhead. Lengthen through the armpits and the elbows. And then start to stretch out your legs one at a time. And now, squeezing the block between the hands, you'll let the arms come up and overhead and lower the block down towards your pelvis. And then lift the block up and overhead, thumbs coming towards the floor. And then move the hands up and over towards the leg side. And again, take the block up and over towards the head side. And continue moving like this, lubricating the shoulder joints. Stay extended in the elbows. Breathe length through the trunk. Be long in your abdomen. Let the abdomen settle. Let the thighs settle. Let the shoulder blades relax into the support of the block that's underneath you, and continue with this movement. Squeeze the block that's between the hands. Nice smooth movement. Taking the block up and overhead, and then up and over towards the legs. And then the next time the block is up and overhead, stay there, breathing, extending through the fingers and the toes. Breathing here. And now start to help yourself out of the pose, using your hands to help you come all the way up.